Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 79 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Jeff, and alongside me, as always, is the little Vic to my big Kon. It's Max, everybody. What's going on, Max?
What's up, everybody?
I don't know.
You know, I've been called worse.
Little Vic, hey, man, you can't do nothing about it.
You know?
But I heard if you chew Blue Chew, now sponsored by... No. We'll take it, but anyways, guys, welcome. We'll see you guys rolling in here or not. Either way, thank you for listening, watching live on Twitch or on YouTube or however you are consuming us. We thank you. I will speak directly to the audio listeners, all 24 of you. We appreciate you, but I'll talk in just a bit on the YouTube comments about you guys. So anywho, crazy week. Datia popping in there. Hello, hello. Really, I know when isn't it now? It's usually a more so a calm week is the rarity with Impact Wrestling now compared to a crazy week. It's always something, it feels like. And the Forbidden Door seems to be open. Josh seems to be gone. I don't know. We'll talk about all this as well as reviewing Impact, the debut of Big Kon amongst releases and GutCheck and Honor No More. So, Max, what's exciting you right now, man?
Well, obviously, Bullet Club is in Impact, so I'm excited about that. The Super Bowl.
True, yeah.
Is tomorrow, and Adam Pac-Man Jones' former team.
So shout out to former tag team champion of the world.
You know,
so doing a lot of this.
Impact,
must be the
people. There's some Impact connections everywhere.
Are you going for the Bengals?
I don't really care who wins.
Okay.
I just want to see a good game.
Yeah. I mean, look, for February, something to pop us, I'm excited just for something to happen. They both got decent offenses, so it should be fun. And that's what we need. We have No Surrender coming up. We have an Impact to talk about, an Impact before No Surrender. So a lot of fun things to look forward to amongst the mud that is the world right now. So we'll have a good time.
Oh, and the Olympics is going on.
Oh, yeah.
I love
the Olympics. You are an Olympic guy. Anywho,
curling last night.
We're with all of our listeners in the world. Speaking of that, let's get right into it instead of blabbing on per usual. We're up in YouTube numbers. Thank you so much, guys. 264. Our goal is 350 by Rebellion, which is perfectly timed. Saturday, April 23rd. So that's our goal. We're trying to get to it. What we really like, though, is that each subscription, minus our parents and such, seems to relate into a listener view. And we really, really appreciate that. Like we say, one fan at a time, one friend at a time, trying to build something here. Please subscribe, as I was saying there. It is all of this to put on this facade of a fake show. It takes a lot of work, and we appreciate everyone that helps us. And then, obviously, they're mostly in the chats here, but also that have been with us since day one. So thank you. Get those likes up, hit subscribe, and tell your friends. But let's get right into the YouTube comments. Seems to be a segment everyone loves now. We got quite a bit. I'm going to start sending these to you beforehand, Max, so you could see them. But I try to make it big. So we'll roll with it. And then number 4, I will read. It's just one, but it goes into that rambling about the audio listeners I was speaking of. You want to start off with that one, or you want me to hit that?
I'll go ahead and do it. So reports are that Josh Alexander has finished up with Impact Wrestling and that he is more than likely on his way to AEW. I saw this coming a mile away back when Ethan Page first left early last year, even though everyone kept telling me otherwise. And someone else responded with, "It's a work." That's you, by the way.
That was me, yeah.
And then up below that, I don't know, man. Josh even posted a goodbye on his Twitter page before later going back and deleting it. go on Facebook to the news, and it's a whole article about it, and someone took a screenshot of it before it was gone. So can we talk? We'll talk about
Well,
the Josh Alexander thing
yeah,
at number two.
we'll get into that. I will say that was
Revisit
me that said
this
it's
particular comment because I have some opinions on everything. So
yeah. Well, we have number 2 to talk about that. We're lagging a little bit, so sorry if we're talking over each other, but we're trying to make it work here. Oh, fun enough! In one episode in March, we will be in the same room, so that'll be weird. But that'll be a good time, and our no lag that time. All right. Number 2. Let's keep rolling here. All right, I'll take this one. Oh, and that was Michael Reese or Rice. Either way, awesome. Thank you for that. We'll talk about that as a topic, inspired by you. Bland Skies 20. I like this week's show better than last week's. There was a lot of things happening. I also think they should do more segments away from the arena, like with the hotel fight with Moose and Morrissey. Also, really like Cardona turning heel. Finally, it should make for entertaining TV. 100% agree with both those sentiments. One of my favorite segments of all time, even though I wasn't a huge Lashley guy at that point, was the feud between Steiner and Lashley. And they were attacking him in the hotel, and he was telling Lashley that the baby had his eyes. And said, Crystal, I'm in love with Crystal.
are they talking about they liked our show better this week than last week, or Impact?
I'm going to go with Impact. I firmly believe it's Impact. But thank you, Blance Guys 20, always coming through. Greg Blanton here. Have 2 rankings, one for only champions and one for the other top contenders for each. Yeah, we're playing around with it. You'll see a little bit new. I think we're going to start giving points to the people that are champions, so they at least have that little bit of a foundation before the committee votes. But once again, if you guys want to make a difference in the rankings that it seems you guys always argue about, it's at TNAIW channel on Twitter. Hit us up. You could join it. It's literally just a DM away. You make your presence felt every time. It just needs to be before Friday, 8 p.m. So, but we'll see the rankings in just a moment. As far as GutCheck, I've never been a fan of it. They sign the wrong talents over the clearly better talent all the time. Even a few years ago, Jackson Stone won. It isn't even an Impact. To that, I will say Jackson Stone is. He's doing him, Tony Gunna. I've seen they do pre-show matches, but also security is there. So I get what you're saying, and that obviously isn't a. Yeah, that doesn't fight the narrative that was set there. You're correct. Nice podcast. Thanks, guy. All right. What do we got here? Number 3. Can you see that, Max?
Yes. I can't tell who it's from. So
Side Blurry 28.
there we go. Really good episode, and it was nice to see Kenny King back. I agree. As far as Bhupinder, seems way more athletic and quicker than Shira. Well, yeah. The mid-rope spear was cool, even though Impact uses the spear way too much. I do agree. I like the mid-rope spear.
Yeah.
I would also say Bailey's finisher looks like it would actually hurt a bigger wrestler, whereas Darby's trust fall doesn't. I fucking hate Darby Allin's finisher. If you want to rank, whereas it is the shitty version of the 450. As much as I love the 450 splash, I fucking hate the coffin drop. It is absolute ass cheeks. If Impact Wrestling gets a second show on their channel, do you think that a knockout show or ROH show would benefit them going forward? I think either one would be interesting. I also think Lance Storm coming in could be huge. I think a show that focuses more on the knockouts. I would still like to see kind of everybody in there, but I wouldn't mind if that show was more dedicated to knockouts. I think that would be smart, and I do agree with Storm.
Look, I think we can, I agree with that. To make it quick, I think give them both. Look, here's the way I look at it is if they're stepping up and they're making more revenue and they could secure more dates in those venues, why not? I mean, content is content. And if people jump on the bandwagon now or they jump on the bandwagon 2 years, that content is still there. And they'll go back and subscribe or not. And it's a gamble, but I think it would be very smart to spread especially with not saturating the current product, because you're not having a Thunder or a Rampage or a SmackDown, or well, I guess they're separate brands, but you know what I mean. I would like both of them. And this is Millard Harris, who always says something kind to say.
And last one was another great show. You guys. Thanks for always giving an honest opinion on Impact.
That's spoiler-free, honest, transparent, unbiased, pro wrestling.
93.
Since 99. All right, and the last one here is, and this is what I was talking about earlier about the audio. We were trying to figure out why our audio has dropped and our YouTube has gained, and there has been lost numbers in there. So if you're watching again for the first time, thank you. We love you, and we are sorry. We'll do better. We'll say that. But Michael Cheney finally wrote us, not him specifically, but in general, we were finally. Warned that I would listen to your podcast version, but last week you only put 13 minutes from the hour-long YouTube version, and this week you only gave 38 minutes from the YouTube show. So to wrap up, thank you, Michael Cheney, for that honest. This is what we need to hear it, and we appreciate it. Shout out to you, buddy.
Who the hell's in charge of our
Well, not you.
podcast? I know it's not me.
Well, that would pertain to you doing something more, Max. But I'm so first of all, slow it down. Second. Craig, I mean, he had, long story short, he was using this thing and only allowed him to whatever. Fixed, good, listen to the podcast version, subscribe, Spotify, all that jazz. Thank you, Michael Cheney, for making us work. We are good. All right, speaking of that and arguments, we have changed the power rankings slightly. They're going to come right now. Tatia is still, in the chat, but also voicing them over. Hello, everyone there. I see T. Hughes is in there, Critical Sting, Io, Bert, Tatia, awesome, thank you guys, and Lucha, I think I saw in there as well. So guys, we're gonna get into power rankings. She's still doing the voiceover. We're gonna talk Monday at our Monday meeting about expanding it. You'll see what I mean later, but I don't want to give too much away. But here are this week's TNAIW channel power rankings. Yeah, power
rankings. Number 10, number 1 contender Tasha Steelz. Number 9, Steve Macklin. Number 8, Digital Media Champion Matt Cardona. Number 7, Honor No More. Number 6, ROH and Reina de Reinas Champion Diana Purrazzo. Number 5, The Walking Weapon Josh Alexander. Number 4, World Champion Mickie James. Number 3, Bullet Club. Number 2, number 1 contender W.Morrissey. Number 1, World Champion, Moose.
All right, Max, there are the power rankings for this week. I see you clapping. You're golf clapping. What does that mean? Is that sarcasm or is that true?
Our champion is number 1.
Okay.
That's what I pushed for when Kenny was champion, and the Kenny hatred continued to push him lower in the rankings, so I'm happy with him. So...
Yeah, no, I am.
Two brothers were on the show this week, and they didn't make it. But, can't be perfect.
Can't be. And as I was going to say, in using that as transition, I no longer am part of it. So it's clear, not surprise I make them, but it's all the fans of Impact that are doing the Power Rankings Committee. Once again, you can write us at TNAIW channel on Twitter, and you can be part of it. But yeah, man, I have no part in it. Max has no part in it. So this is all solely on you guys. One, to pass the blame. Just to make it more about you guys. Bert and Tatia killing it in there. Lucha, obviously, the godfather of them. We thank you and keep up the great work. So hope you guys like them. But let's get right into Impact on Access TV. Another fire show. Once again, I feel like I'll just start telling you guys when it's a shit show. But this time I do not need to. BTI, we had Lady Frost picking up the win against Alicia Edwards. Once again, BTI, we have it on the Tron as well. It's worth your watch, especially if you're not a consistent fan or viewer or consumer. Check it out. It really recaps everything, and then it's also just a really cool piece of content now. Josh picked up an angry Josh, by the way, after cutting what I thought was actually one of his best promos in the company in the 3 years. But Josh picked up the I can't even say it without it. Picked up the W against Big Kon. Big Kon came out and tapped in under a minute and a half. Scott D'Amore then came out. I love the line with Josh saying, "That's not what you that's what you don't understand. This is home." No surrender. Great stuff there. We'll talk more about that at number 2. Macklin wants the 5th spot at No Surrender now that Josh has been sent home. And he goes and tells them, hey, go ask the group, the front line, or whatever the hell they're going to be called. Deanna Open Challenge. She was victorious. A little wonky of an ending there. I don't know if it's ref communication there, but still a great match. Brittany made a return, or Santana Garrett, who I've been hoping comes back for quite a while. I'll tell you guys a little bit more if you're an avid watcher of the show. You know where I think she fits in perfectly. The front line with again with Scott and told him, hey, maybe we go get Gresham. So they go to look for Gresham. Tasha is on commentary. Chelsea picks up the W via disqualification against Mickey when they interrupt the match. Bhupinder is backstage with Gia, blows off Raj again. Caleb and the Inspiration have a little moment. Madison comes in and breaks it up. Where's this going? Bullet Club of Bay, Tonga, White, and Micah. VBD and Good Brothers had a little segment. I actually liked this segment there. I think it's really helping with the tag division, even if it's just by building faction or group or brand. It's doing a good job. Gresham was out backstage. Who could it be? Then we have heel Cardona. The fact that he just ended it with "see ya," that's just so. Oh God, I love it. He's finally made that turn, and we also find out that on top of the fire card. Look, if you guys are watching on YouTube or Twitch, and you're seeing the Tron right now as I'm seeing it, No Surrender is a fire fucking show. And yes, I'm gonna use my F-bomb for the night. I mean, they just added the rematch of Cardona and Grace as well. She's invoking her rematch clause. Dude, stoked. Honor No More picked up the dub against Swan and Rhino. Love you, Rhino, but yikes. Honor No More, the people representing were the OG Kingdom of Bennett and Taven, who grow on me each week more and more. Silk and Ian and Cruz backstage talking about I don't know, man. Who could it be? Oh, what's going on here? Silliness, really. Giselle Shaw with Gia. Lady Frost next week for her, which I guess means another Lady Frost L. And then Myers and Morrissey, who is no longer 6'10", he is over 7 foot tall, and he in a banger of a no DQ match. Moose coming out later to destroy him. Max, a lot there, but unpack it for me. Favorite part of it. Let's start with what sticks out to you the most.
So I liked seeing the Kingdom wrestle. I thought that was really well done. I liked the commentary. I thought that Maria and on commentary was well done. She's amazing. I like the fact that they were talking about how she's like, oh, it's Maria Kanellis Bennett. And he was like, oh, I've had problems with your name before, which I'm assuming is a throwback to when they were in NXT. Right. Or I think it might have been NXT that she was a part of. Or was it on the main roster? I thought Mike Bennett got dropped down to NXT, but I wasn't sure if Tom was there at that point. I liked the Bullet Club. Well, yeah, the Bullet Club and VBD segment. I thought that segment was really well done. I think Jay White's really good on the mic. I like hearing him talk. Obviously, behind me, you can see Bullet Club's biggest fan. I'm guessing she's also an Attitude Era fan because the top she wore is like peak Attitude Era. Like had she been there with DX, she probably would have been blowing her out. But I feel bad for her son because at some point his friends are going to see that and be like, dude, can I ask your mom to prom? So that's just got down the line for that though. I thought that was well. So the Bhupinder thing I thought was interesting. They're setting up a feud there, and I thought it was really well done and really interesting. I liked him talking about all the things he had accomplished prior to wrestling. He was a kickboxing champion. Right. He had done this. I thought that was really cool because it kind of gives you a quick catch up on what he's done. And it's like, hey, this guy's a legit athlete, especially coming from overseas. It's not like, oh, I played in the NFL like Moose. Like with Moose, like you easily know that because it's sure. North America. Yeah. That. So coming from another country saying, hey, look, these are the out of wrestling things I've done definitely gives him credibility. I like that a lot. Obviously, I think that Macklin attacked Jonathan Gresham. It seems to just fit too well. We'll talk more about Josh Alexander and his opponent. I hope I never see that dude ever again on Impact. I thought that was
Who?
Big Con or whatever.
Oh,
I'd rather Shannon Moore come back than I ever see that guy ever again.
Book
I
a Dilly Gaff.
was super excited when he came out. I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I liked it. I
Yeah.
think this could be good. And then I went to go grab a drink, and when I came back, he was tapping. I thought my YouTube thing jumped.
No.
So I thought that was kind of a crappy way to introduce him. But hey, whatever. He's a jobber. No, I thought altogether it was a really good episode. I liked Moose coming out and just the viciousness of Moose. I thought that was really done.
Yeah.
And I thought the no DQ match was a really smart way to do it, with him taping his wrist there. And it's because he can't stand up to Morrissey. So little things like that to kind of even this score, I think, are really well done. And I agree. Cardona is the fact that he's a heel now it's amazing. He's should have been doing this all along, but
I think we could argue that.
The long I guess the long con or like the long-term storytelling for this to finally happen, I think is really well when you look back at it.
Yeah, man, I agree with you on a lot of that. I felt like everything flowed pretty organically. I ribbed on the Silken and Ian and Cruz thing, but I mean, it served its purpose, and I like seeing them. I'm a mark for our anything ROH, to be honest with you, especially from back in the day. So it's still, cool there, fanboy cool to see them there, and who is part of this? That's what's interesting. With Riccaboni kind of leading to that is could he be so I still think that the seed of that is planted in that doubt because we're focusing on Bullet Club and all these other things could slip under the rug and under the radar and deliver something really cool with that group. We'll talk more about them at 3, so I won't go too much on that. So next week we have Lady Frost, who I said keeps getting the L's, but I know, when you're signed, I don't mind that because it's making you build your way up, and she's already over. I mean, it's not like these losses are really doing anything to her. You could say she's a rookie in it, and then, she figured it out in a month or whatever, and give her a monster run. But I wanted, I was trying to think, I always been preaching Santana Garrett should come in and be with Rachael, because love Jordan. And her together, but I think Jordan's on her own is Jordan. She's fine. And Rachael, maybe eventually too. I really liked her in the Knockouts Knockdown showing and beyond, but she hasn't been with us. She's not mentioning us on Twitter. She's still on the roster page. Maybe there's something there. I won't get into all that. But regardless, I hope she's still with the company. She's talented and she's really cool. And I thought her and Santana would have a cool vibe together. Kind of similar. You could do 2 different colors. I think that would be really cool. But then I was thinking about it. Lady Frost eventually is going to need to take that next step. What could it be? Could it be singles? There's a lot of people in line at that singles already. Tasha, who I'll mention in a moment. Wonder if she has that all red look. Wonder if you do a fire and ice kind of thing with Lady Frost and Santana. So I think you could play around with that or play around with some ideas, but I'm happy that she's there. Karen Angle debuted officially. I mean, Giselle Shaw debuted officially. I had to do a double take. I was like, what the fuck? And I thought for some reason I thought she was British for some reason. I gotta do my homework. But either way, she looks badass in the ring, so I'll hold my my thoughts on her. I know there's a huge fan base already in the chat about her. Oh, she did. Rachael did get removed from the roster page this week.
Hold on. Let me.
Ah, man, I thought I just checked it. That sucks. That sucks.
They've added enough.
Yeah, I know, but I dig her. The big con thing. Here's what I'll say about that. And this plays off to the fans. I say this to Impact Wrestling fans as well. So don't take this as a hit on anybody else. But a lot of replies I saw this week, and I hate spoilers. I don't want to read a spoiler. We are spoiler free, by the way. But I knew Big Con was going to be that local market got roadblock for Josh. Everyone keeps saying, oh, well, what's his name got hurt during the... I think that's a work, man. I think that was their way of getting him out of... and maybe I'm wrong. But either way, Charlie Haas isn't in the company. It looks like they kept picking people up from the markets which they were within. And I think this was maybe Big Con's there, maybe doing a friend job. I don't know. And we'll talk about that later because I think COVID plays a lot of issues into these episodes. more recently. Anyways, either way, he comes in and he debuts, and it's like you said, a minute match at most. People were using the photo of his debut as if that was one of our big signings. We were using that. And to be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised about the little that I saw from him. Not only did he look big and he looked in shape, his stomps looked good. I know it's silly, but the kicks look good. He looked good. Hey, we need tag teams. And, maybe they're good hands. But so we'll talk about the Ascension down the road. But, maybe this leads to something like that. I won't get too far ahead with the Josh thing. I will say the Morrissey thing is very interesting. That I keep saying it, man. He keeps talking about how he's alone. Now he's a babyface, so now he's loves the people, right? But he's not doing it alone anymore. Then his throat gets taken out. Our shows are live. I wonder if I don't know what contract Enzo has with MLW, but if you need a mouthpiece, if he needs a mouthpiece, can't talk anymore, right? He got hit in the throat with a chair. That would be interesting. That'd be really interesting, and I'm okay for that. I would like to give. I'm all about redemption, and he's killing it elsewhere, so why not? What other one? Oh, the Bhupinder thing. As we've been preaching for quite a bit, we would love to see an Indian wrestler get something other than just Indian guy. Now, I was mistaken last week when he said he was by way of Canada. I was like, oh damn, he's Canadian. They're passing another kind of like. Insert whoever they've used in the past here. Raj, for instance, he's not from India. He's from Toronto, I think. But it's interesting how they're playing back and forth. I thought Raj was going to take the more, traditional Indian gimmick, but it looks like the other guy's just being himself and representing India in his own way, which I really dig. He could be an Indian star and have an Indian accent, but still not be Captain India, which I really like that.
Yes, I agree.
And the same with Raj. He's not your typical whatever as well. And if the Bollywood boys come in, that would be really dope. I just feel like those three, that would be cool.
Love them.
Because I really believe Raj just has something shiny about him that I really dig. And he's just got like that guy you want to laugh at getting punked out. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just think he plays a really good, I think he plays it really well. Whatever he does. The other thing, oh yeah, I went on a tangent, but I didn't say. I always say this to fans, Impact included. Don't, and this isn't against Kon either, Big Kon. But they were using that to say it was, oh, look how shitty Impact is. You get this guy. Well, first of all, he's talented. I was pleasantly surprised, and I think he could do something really good with that tag division if Vic comes in as well. But also, you don't know what was going on. Out of context, if we said, oh, we have a huge signing, August 1st warning, who could it be? Who's coming through that Forbidden Door bullshit like Tony Khan pulled the other week, and then had to pull Jay White out, which we'll talk about at number 2. We would. I would hope Impact fans wouldn't give anyone else shit, and vice versa. Like, let it go, guys. I mean, one, this guy's a talent. It's just like if you make it to the NBA. I firmly believe this. You make it to the NBA, you cannot be a scrub. You make it to the NFL, you cannot be a scrub. Could you be not as good or hang with everybody? Sure. But you're still going to go to a playground and kick somebody's ass in basketball or rec football. So, and I think that's the same with wrestling. I think these guys are still better than your average bear, and that's why they keep showing up. And I hope they find a home.
So I'll say the reason why I was disappointed with Big Kon is because I was hoping for the Ascension. I think they're a really good tag team, and I think they would be awesome in Impact.
Yeah.
And when he showed up, I was hoping it would lead to the Ascension, and he just came in, lost in a minute and a half, and I'm like, well, fuck.
Well, it doesn't mean that.
Now, so if they end up coming together, I would love that. Okay. And as for, you had talked about Rhino, I feel like he is on the Impact team because they need someone to take that pin, and they're like, it's you, big man.
Right.
When Eddie turns, you're going to take that pin.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I agree with you. Look, I love Rhino. I still pop for his music. He was one of the first people to cross the line, so to speak. I was born and raised an ECW fan to start. I don't know if raised is a great term, but it's just there comes a point where they're stumbling down. I think you could utilize them somewhere else. I think BBD was great. You don't need them in the ring necessarily. If we have that, that money. But I agree with you. He serves his point, and he serves
I still think him and Heath would be great as that like intro tag team that just gives people wins.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the Bushwhackers. They could be the Bushwhackers.
Yeah. Oh man. 76 Philly in there. I prefer Morrissey on his own. He's proven he doesn't need Enzo. I completely agree. We've said that for the past few months, especially when we left Slammiversary and those tapings. We cheered for him on his way back, and because he earned our respect. And I don't mean like, oh, he needs to earn our, like, who are we, right? But in the grand scheme of things, we are the consumer, we are the fan, and I was happy to see that he landed on his feet. He's the talent that everyone said he was when he was in the E, and everyone was hyping him up, and that he's getting a shot to show that. And the redemption story there cannot be whatever. At the same time, that little extra something, Impact, like we always say here, this is now like the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars. We're not battling anyone, but each segment is taken by something or someone who deserves it. And it doesn't mean the other people don't. Just deserves it a little bit more, and that little extra doesn't hurt. And that's why I love the thing with Caleb in the 2 inspiration and influence. I love, that there's layers.
Much like the 76ers didn't need James Harden.
Yeah,
adding him may push them over the top. It's the same thing with W.Morrissey. He doesn't need Enzo, but it might elevate him to championship level.
Yeah, go Knicks. All right. No, you're true. You're right. All right, thanks for joining us, 76 Philly. All right, let's get to number 2, Josh Alexander. This is the buzz. We mentioned it in the comments, so I won't spend too much time setting it up. Max, what do you think's really going on here? Is he leaving? His contract is up in April, which is 2 months away. But we've talked about it extensively in the last episode a little bit. I ranted a little bit about, why would you quit your day job if you didn't have, something lined up? So, or money in the bank. So let's talk about that, dive into that. What do you think?
So obviously it's possible that Impact gave him the contract that he can live on, and now he's going to leave and go to AEW. That's definitely a possibility. But the whole setup with his talk, like you said, with him saying, hey, this is home, everything they went about where, you had career-ending injury, you came back, you were a different person, blah, 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 leave, go home, you're off the team, and then him posting that Twitter message about, hey, it's been great, it's been fun. I feel like they're setting up storyline for him to leave Impact.
Yeah. Permanently?
And so do I think he goes to AEW?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if he does a little run there, but not as a not as he signed to AEW, more so as a, hey, like you said, a forbidden door thing. Jay White's doing it.
Yeah.
Other people have done it. I just feel like maybe he doesn't go to AEW, but I feel like the post on Twitter and everything in the ring, that interaction is just a giant connected storyline for him leaving and then of like taking some time off possibly, and then you'll see him come back.
Yeah. I'm going to stick to my guns here. I won't spoil anything because we don't know any spoilers. We don't have any inside knowledge, but I will say this. Logic tells me he has already signed an extension. He's taken care of by Scott in Impact. I think loyalty and respect, and some money in the bank are a good package, and I just can't see it happening. And I can't see a man, once again, who lives in Canada and is now moving to the States or whatever it may be, maybe he's still located there. Either way, needs a work visa, quitting his day job with 2 children and a wife to feed. Even though she's talented enough, she could do herself. But you know what I mean? I just that doesn't add up. What also doesn't add up is Tony Khan doing anything nice for the hell of it, right? I don't think he's a bad guy. We've said that extensively. I think he gets a bad rap, and I also think he plays it up. But I also think when he was spewing off about what was it? The Forbidden Door. Someone's going to come through it, and they could just kick the door back, and not ever go back through. And he was saying a lot of shit that Tony Khan is a lot of things, but one thing he's not is an idiot. Okay, he knows the definition of the Forbidden Door. What I think happened. Now it could have been it wasn't Jay White. It wasn't. He said he had to pull an audible really quick. What I think personally, and this is conspiracy theory only, is that the storyline where Josh comes to AEW was supposed to start, and Tony didn't realize that Impact is after Dynamite. So I'm going to be honest. I don't know if he was skiing or what, or what it was, or maybe it was just hype. Either way, look, they mentioned Josh on the show within that Dan Lambert and Brandy Rhodes segment. They have Dan Lambert in the Impact Zone scouting talent. We thought it was Jonah. Maybe it still is. Josh is sent home. He has 2 months till his contract is up. I think we see him in AEW for a program or two, and then he returns at Rebellion. I think we miss Josh for 2 months, and I'm okay with that, because it's going to be the full arc of this man's story. And he'll be more over than he ever was. And here's the thing. I said it in a quick kind of douchey way, but Tony Khan, he has done stuff for others without maybe expecting something in return. But the thing he does not expect is an L. And Kenny didn't lose to one of our guys. He lost to Christian, and then Christian lost to Josh and did good business for whatever reason. I had not an argument whatsoever, but I said my piece online where someone was saying, like, oh, the reason nothing happened with the Bullet Club versus Kenny Omega after Slammiversary is because Impact's ego. No. Let's get this straight. Okay. We are not the side with the ego because we are not the side to have an ego. We have built everything from the ground up, so do we have respect and for our talent? Yes. At the same time, we understand you have a giant platform that you have no reason to say Impact Wrestling. But between that and the digs the Good Brothers make about egos and stuff as well, and the Forbidden Door and other companies, look, I think there was something there with AEW and Impact. The thing ended there, and I think this is something now that works out for both, because now the AEW fan base does respect Josh for the most part. Worldwide, I think Josh is respected for the most part. So now, Tony gets to get our guy on there, give him the rub. He might not have been able to pin a Kenny Omega, but he did pin Christian, and who knows, maybe even they tie that and loose end up there as well. So I think there's something to go with that. I think that's why the Jay White thing wasn't audible. But I 100% think Josh Alexander is already signed to an extension with Impact Wrestling.
I will say, if he does go, vanishes, shows up on AEW, does a program or two, and then reemerges in Impact, what's going to be hilarious is all the AEW fans who are going to see him in AEW. And then he's going to be the greatest thing in wrestling because he's in AEW. And then when he leaves, they're going to have to somehow justify the fact that he's really not that good to begin with. Right. That's what they do with everybody in Impact. Doesn't matter who it is. Jay White, average in Impact. He comes to AEW and it's, oh my God, Jay White. Yeah. So that's really what I'm interested in seeing, is just the mind games that they have to play.
Yeah. Critical Sting 17s. Without expecting something in return, quotations, tell that to Corrigan. On Impact side or as in AEW? Because I think on both sides it kind of works in some ways. Let's get to number 3. Speaking of other companies, ROH is thriving within Impact Wrestling in one form or another. We had Gresham knocked out after maybe joining Team Impact. You have... What else happened? Well, first of all, the Kingdom picked up a win, thriving in the tag team division. Kerry Silk and all of them were backstage. Are we going for, obviously, we've said Eddie from the get. Eddie was the guy who was going to turn. Eddie is the guy who's going to be part of Honor No More, because he needs a little bit of a spit shine, even though Eddie could probably do the same thing for the next 10 years and still be over. It would be cool for him to have a little bit of something for himself, creatively, I think. So I think he's a perfect fit, but do you see something else? They're throwing some other things, little pieces at us. Gresham knocked out. Could it be Gresham? Could Gresham be faking it? He didn't want to be part of the team.
Maybe he was just taking a nap. He's like, you know what? This floor looks comfy. I'm just going to take a nap right
Maybe
here.
maybe Jordan was pressing him.
Yeah.
So it could it be that? Could it be Gresham? Was obviously maybe he's turning. Could it be Macklin who just wants to turn as well, or just want a part of the team? We expect someone. We expect. Let me rephrase that. We expect Honor No More to win this match and have contracts after No Surrender. I think we could agree. Okay. How's it happen?
So I don't think it's Gresham. I think he was legitimately knocked out. He's also, the whole time he's been there, he's lived by the pure rules. That's Gresham's character. I don't think he turns.
Okay.
They were trying to make you think it was Macklin because of his issues with Gresham, to where he had asked to join the team, and Scott was like, we're going to let them pick. What about? And then the team was like, we want Gresham. And now he's knocked unconscious. Well, naturally, it makes sense that Macklin jumps him so he can get on the team. And then he runs out and saves him. But I think that's what they want you to believe.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. I think it's going to be Eddie. I think Eddie's going to be the one who is going to turn. Of everybody on Team Impact, he's really the one that would make the most sense and be the biggest surprise.
Yeah.
Macklin turning would be like, man, I saw that coming a mile away. The dude's a jackass.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm with you. I really think it's Eddie, and they're just throwing some stuff at us to swear, and I'm okay with that. The obvious sometimes is the right. And I would be excited for Eddie to have that. Could it be eventually a Davey comes back and they have the Evil Wolves like they're doing in Wrestling Revolve? Man, there's just so much you could play with there. And what I really like about it is if Sinclair has kept the rights to ROH. Maybe that's true. Maybe even if they have, or maybe if they have or haven't, excuse me, a show can be on Impact Plus or one of the things. Either way, I think what you can really do for ROH, who is going to bring in and focus on more wrestling base and whatever, is when you have when you want to push a pay-per-view, when you want to do something a little bit extra or more, bring in Honor No More. I mean, it's a built-in storyline for them, no matter what company ROH represents. So, yeah, man, a lot of cool stuff there. How are they going to win? Yeah, I agree with you. I think Kenny gets involved, and the kendo stick, and we see the turn of Eddie. He's part of Honor No More. Why, Eddie? Why?
Much like when Hogan turned with NWO.
Yeah.
Hogan turning because it was like, oh, he's WCW. Eddie would be that for Impact turning. You could, like, outside of AJ Styles coming back and all of a sudden turning, like, you can't think of somebody who's more Impact than Eddie Edwards.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I liked how Eddie. There was a lot of clues, and Eddie stepping up and saying, "We built this company." I love you, Eddie, but Chris Sabin built it. He was there since day one. Eddie,
maybe Sabin turns out would be interesting, but
but they had. It's more likely. I just don't see why. Sabin is more Impact than Eddie to me, and Eddie's very Impact to me. Do you know what I mean? Like stature wise. But it was just interesting how he kept saying like, I built this place. And then Ios is in the group there. Interesting. Eddie was against Macklin joining. I agree. I think there's a lot of little things there that are cool for them. But the other thing I want to mention is we mentioned it last week a little bit. Rok-C, you mentioned maybe her being the woman of the group. Obviously, she's just got offered a WWE contract, which I think she'll take. And being that age and that look and that size, I think she fits in well with them.
Wrestle for WWE for 3 years, get the money, and then when they cut you, go do something else.
No, I think she fits them like a T. She'll work there unless they make her have a silly gimmick or something. But either way, pro wrestling. Most success to her. But besides Maria, obviously she's the first lady of professional wrestling, and obviously Honor No More. But is there room for number 2? And we talked about that. If it wasn't Rok-C, is someone else coming in? Could you see that? Could Maria and somebody be in a tag team while Taven and someone are in a tag team? I don't even know if Maria's interested in wrestling.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know if Maria really wrestles. I did see someone mention online that Rok-C is going to be the first person to have a better name in NXT than she did on the Indies. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's good. That's good shit. That's good shit. Yeah.
But I don't think I like Maria in that mouthpiece role. I don't think she's a wrestler. I think she comes in, she wears her little outfits, she gets involved when she needs to, and then that's it.
Okay.
Adding a woman,
her outfits.
She does. Like, we're
good.
She looked great last night or the other night. Could somebody else come in? I would say yes, but at this point, the knockouts are kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And I can't think of someone who just is sitting around doing nothing, who you could be like, man, we need to add them to, give them something to do against a Ring of Honor person. Like, so I think for now, no. I think there's a possibility that when they win, then you could see their group grow, because it's like, well, Honor No More won contracts. Oh, we're all part of Honor No More. And now all of a sudden we're the NWO rolling up in
Oh my
26
God.
limousines.
All right. Yeah. No.
So, but I can
I
see
agree
them doing that. But right now, I don't think they'll add anybody.
Yeah, no, I like the rogues gallery look of all different people who somehow fit but don't, and it's a really cool. She hates Scott. Who hates Scott? Maybe Deanna turns. Oh, maybe Deanna turns. Yeah, I think that that's a good idea. Same with Chelsea Green. She's eventually, inevitably going to turn. I would assume her and Matt, make that mindset change together, which I think is great. And if so, I said before, I think Deanna should be her tag team partner. And where were both of them? And who is the ROH Women's Champion? It's Deanna, and so is Chelsea. So we'll see. And I think Chelsea was banking on ROH being, and I don't mean to laugh, but on that was more her home than Impact. So, she fits right in that narrative. But let's continue here. Let's go GutCheck. The guys at TBN, and I'm going to use this as an excuse to plug Talking Bloody Nonsense. They're on episode 8 already, killing it. Love their work. They're finding their groove. They got really cool graphics. No, I'm just kidding. But no, really cool intro done by someone singing songs for them, which we don't even have.
They sabotage our show by.
They took our producer. No, but they're doing awesome. Nixon and Mystery Pat Craig. Go watch them. Check them out. Make sure you give them the likes. Give them that rub. But they have a TBN chats as well. Coming out, number 4, another member of the Knight family. So stay tuned and see who that is. But they obviously have that one that's doing really well. Len Davies was number 3. Oh, they were perfect timing. Lizzie Evo, number 1. Ricky Knight Jr. number 2. So go check them out. They're doing great shit. And they are live every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. British Standard Time. So check them out. And the reason I'm getting our plugs in now is because I have a special one I want to do at the end for something that if you guys have a little bit of extra cash that we could talk about. It's not for us. All right, now, number 4 here. But what they were talking about on their show, and I thought was a really good point, was, and also mentioned in the comments, I apologize to whoever said it, but great point. GutCheck never amounts to much. We talked off air just slightly about Joey Ryan being one, but he didn't win originally, or did he? And he was fired. No, they brought. I don't remember how that worked. I blocked that time frame out a little bit. Brian Cage was on one, but he got denied. What's her name from Tough Enough and Lucha Underground? Someone help me out here. Ivelisse is from was on there as well. I mean, there was a bunch of people that didn't really pan out. I mean, now granted, some of them pan out later, but not through GutCheck. We had that weird shit with Alex Silva getting a contract because Ric Flair couldn't keep in his pants or something. I don't know, man. And changed it live on television. So it's been a really weird time. I think the only one they really gave it to and pushed hard was damn it.
Taylor Hendricks got it.
Yeah, Taylor, but she didn't do much.
Sam Shaw.
Yeah. What's his name? Christian York. Yeah, the guy from The Wrestler.
Wes Briscoe. He was on GutCheck.
Yeah, but he didn't win. So there was names.
Yeah, he did. He was. Well, I'm just saying he was the one who.
He was one.
Yeah. So the people who got it, I'll read through. So Alex Silva was successful.
Okay.
Joey Ryan was unsuccessful.
Yeah.
Taylor Hendricks was successful. Sam Shaw was successful. Chris Louie was unsuccessful. Evan Marca Hippopotamus, whatever his name is, was unsuccessful. Christian York was successful,
Yeah.
and Wes Briscoe was successful. That was the original run,
Okay.
and then Jay Bradley was successful. So this was when they had 2 contestants. So they had Jay Bradley and Brian Cage.
Yeah.
Jay Bradley won. He was successful. Eva Lise versus Lady Tap.
Tappa, yeah.
Eva Lise was successful, but nothing came of it. Adam Pearce versus Mango,
Wait.
unsuccessful.
Wind that back? You said who was successful? Lady Tappa or
Eva Lise, it says she was
really?
Yeah. Bruce said no. Al Snow and Danny Davis both said yes.
Wow, well, they didn't take it? Tappa won. Yeah, all right.
Adam Pearce and wrestled Mango. Adam Pearce. Lady Tappa won. That's not. Sorry, I didn't see. Yeah, so Jay Bradley won. Lady Tappa won. She was successful. Mango won. He was unsuccessful. And then Adam Oriner and Ryan Howe. Ryan Howe won, and he was unsuccessful.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, with that being said, you can make your own opinion based on what happened there. Now, a lot of names that eventually flourished in the wrestling business, but not through GutCheck. Now, I know why they do the GutChecks. I think they're great for getting into local markets, getting faces, meeting the talent that's eventually the talent of tomorrow, especially if they go to ROH or whatever route that you see them, OVW or whatever it may be. So you get to, it's just like being a recruiter in college. You're getting a head start, but also maybe you find someone. Now the thing I have the problem with is bringing them in like Shogun. Yeah, I said okay. Yeah, obviously he was doing security and does some matches. And is that really? No, that doesn't compensate what I would think should come out of a GutCheck winner, right? Yeah. So if we're going to make it prestigious, that's cool. If we keep it like this Arnold Classic thing where you kind of just, hey, it's a tryout and we, give us $100 or whatever, money pit, whatever, fuck it, go for it. But I don't expect anything to come out of it, and I don't think we should treat it as such either. But I would not say to the wrestler looking for shine right now in a world where everyone could get their name out through YouTube or some form. Go, be in person, talk to somebody, and maybe you get looked at and, who knows what happens. I want to get your opinion on that, Max, but I do want to say really quick, because Adam Pearce, I remember him on that list. I'm a huge Adam Pearce fan prior to WWE. Still now. I just mean before that. But if it's on YouTube, I'm sure it still is. But if you have a chance and you need a laugh, especially if you're down, go look for Pierce, Texas Ranger. It's a promo he did on the Indies about Kazarian, and it is it's funny. It's good times. Thank me later. All right, Max, GutCheck.
So here's what I'll say. I think it works best as a not televised tryout, similar to how NXT holds tryouts places, and you can go and possibly get invited to the Performance Center.
Right.
Like you said, we go to Arnold Classic, pay X amount of $100, we'll run you through, and then we'll see, hey, do we want to bring you into our development and work you? As a TV show or as a segment, it worked back in 2012 and 2013 because people back then didn't have the access to indies that they do now. So what you had people on these smaller local indies that you were like Joey Ryan, for example. Hey, Taylor Hendricks, hey, we want to bring this person into Impact. Let's use this as a way to debut them.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do that, I think it's great. You set it up as maybe a GutCheck tournament, and you have one person that you want to have win it. But in order for that to work, you really have to be grabbing people that are young people and potentially more overseas guys who people haven't seen much of. Like, imagine if Bailey was on in a GutCheck tournament and he won it, and it's like, hey, welcome to Impact.
Right.
And you saw him wrestle 4 times throughout this, and that's how you introduced. That would work. But just doing this weekly or monthly, hey, let's give a random shot. It's just too much. And when somebody doesn't get it, hey, you were unsuccessful, like, all right, cool, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, give me a determined tournament where the winner
gets
a contract. Yeah, and this is our introduction to this person.
Yeah, I know the negative of it is sometimes the Maven effect, which is, and I liked Maven. I rooted for him. I rooted for Josh. Still root for Josh. Shout out to Josh Matthews, by the way. If you're listening, say nonsense on BTI this week. So anyways, I love Tough Enough, but it's hard sometimes to get that off your, that coding off you. You're the tough enough guy, and then you come out to music. So same with GutCheck. It's hard to get that. So I understand how difficult it could be, but at the same time, Impact needs to do this when they're bringing in more higher end talent. You need to bring in some lower end talent, and I don't mean that talent wise. I mean it in funds wise. So there's got to be balance to it, but I hope it does. I agree with you. I think it needs to stick out a little bit more. So State of Impact is our last topic. We have 4 minutes, and we're going to wrap up pretty much on time. But I do want to use the State of Impact as number 5, just because it's we kind of are bunching things in storylines. We'd like to have a conversation more than, just kind of bullet points the whole time. So with this, just kind of get some plugs in for Impact, tell about, people that are leaving, people that are rumored to come in, and all that stuff, as well as what's coming on in the weeks to come for Impact Wrestling. But first, with us, next week is obviously No Surrender, Saturday, February 19th, 7 days away. If you're watching live with us on Twitch. By the way, we're at 79 on Twitch. So by episode 80, we need one more of you to cross that line and get us up to number 80. And then 264, you guys on YouTube. Thank you so much, family, all of us. But yeah, so next week, Max will not be here for the next 2 weeks. We'll have some surprise friends, I guess, play along. But it will be a live Twitch exclusive pre-show for No Surrender. And if you don't know the card for No Surrender, it's looking really good. You have Cardona and Grace rematch. You have Mickey versus Tasha for the belt. You got GOD versus the Brothers for the belt. You got EY versus Jay White. Morrissey versus Moose for the belt. And I know the 5-on-5 match and so much other shit that's going to come out. I mean, this is a plus special that you could technically watch for free. And they're stepping it up, man. And I love that it's under the No Surrender banner or the Sacrifice banner, Rebellion. Rebellion's newer, but all these ones from the past, it's really great to see this happening. And then this week on Impact, you have Giselle Shaw versus Lady Frost, Bullet Club versus VBD, King versus Sabin, which, come on, man, that's an awesome X Division throwback. And then Tasha and Evans versus Mickey and Chelsea Green. So, I don't know if there's much else that we wanted to talk about with Impact. I think there's so much that we've covered. There's so much going on, though. But the one point I really wanted to make on top of watch Impact Wrestling, subscribe, cross that line, be a fan. Don't have to be a loud one, don't worry, but, come across. The family aspect of the community is really cool, and I want us all to keep it that way. But I do want to say, and I wanted to use my last plug for this, Don West obviously still battling cancer, and they are at Pro Wrestling Tees exclusive this week, limited edition, Micro Brawler Don West for $14.99, which if you buy them on Impact, it's a good deal, $14.99. Pro Wrestling Tees this week, all the money goes straight to Don West for his cancer treatment and recovery. So Don West, we love you. Awesome that Pro Wrestling Tees is doing that. Micro Brawlers, whoever produces them, that's awesome. And if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, you see the ad for it scrolling by. But go check them out. There you go. Perfect timing. Ends February 14th, so there's only 2 days more, right before Valentine's Day. If they're not sold out, make sure they do. Go do it. Awesome. Max, you got anything, buddy?
No, I'm excited for I call it pay-per-view, but...
Yeah, right. It's hard not to.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. It's a great card, top to bottom, and it's another one of those cards where you're going to look at it and be like, man, where is the slow stuff going to be?
Right.
Like, there isn't a match on there. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if they add in and I hate to say a bathroom break match, but I mean, I'm excited. Like I said, I know a lot of people are over Good Brothers, but I feel like this is the match that, and I agree, and both them and God, when they don't care, they're pretty average at best.
Yeah, right.
But I feel like this is a match where all four of them
Give a shit.
are going to care. They've been shit talking each other on Twitter for too long for them to come into this match and not put on a show.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, there was a time I said it in regards to earlier as well with the Forbidden Door thing. There was a time before New Japan was announced to be on Access TV again, where I thought, you know, the tide was turning. New Japan was becoming more exclusive with AEW, and we were gonna get what we got. Like I said, that exclusive thing we got with the chat with Big LG on YouTube a few months back. It just seemed like this wasn't gonna happen, and politics was a big part in it. And to see not only New Japan on our channel, or ours, but you know what I mean, family. But to see them have this match culminate here in Impact, I mean, come on, man, that's awesome. So it's really dope. And the one thing I see someone, thank you, I think it was Io who said it, X Division title as well. I want to mention that. That was another thing on State of Impact I wanted to mention. Or this number 5 here, State of Impact. The COVID issue, the mandates are going down a little bit. At the same time, this taping was hit hard. And that's why I was kind of rambling about Big Kon. Maybe he was, I think he was supposed to do what he did. But I think there's notice, you know, you don't see Willie. You don't have Penzer doing the announcing. Let me see who else I have here. Havoc. Willie, Ellering, well, no reason that why. We have refs that are missing. Heath missing. And Trey. So we haven't had our X Division champion on since last month. All right. So it really halts the momentum of the X Division, which really sucks. But what I do really like, that they can really take this negative and turn it into positive, and I want to look out for that. Oh, Trey broke a tooth.
Oh.
All right. Well, either way, he's not at the tapings. You could bring it back with style. A little tournament, something that makes the X Division title. I mean, well, it is what it is. X Division title, I think, already has the legacy it has, but something just to bring it back with a little bit of oomph, because you got Laredo Kid, all these new guns too, Bailey. I think you could do a nice, cool little tournament, introduce different matchups that we haven't seen before, and then make that title feel as important as we know it is. So. All right, guys, we're a little bit over. Thank you.
By the way, these micro brawler things, Google, they're actually pretty cool. So if you're looking for a collection to start, they've got the Boogeyman. The La Parka. They've got some good stuff.
Yeah.
So
cool. Yeah, check it out.
Micro brawler collection today.
There you go. Start with Don West, $14.99. Supports him and helps with his treatment, which is awesome, man. So guys, out there, as I was saying earlier, be kind to each other. Respect each other's likes and promotional wishes. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye.